What's up? This is GoGo Morrow, and you're checking me out on MusicXclusives TV. You in the way, you in the way, you in the way, you in the way.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Kamey Gomez. I'm here with MusicXclusives TV, and today I have the extremely beautiful and talented GoGo Morrow. How are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm excited. From Philly to New York, you finally made it.
I finally made it. Yes, for sure.
Yes, one thing I love about you that we have in common is our love for Lady Gaga.
Yeah,
She inspired me growing up, definitely in my creativity. I want to know for you, like coming from church, how does somebody get in contact with Lady Gaga? Like, how does that even happen?
Honestly, that story is such a crazy series of events that happened. So I just graduated from school, and I was like in a time where I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I've been singing my whole life. I was in singing groups since I was a little girl. I've been in musical theater. Mm-hmm. But when it came time for me to just start deciding what I wanted to do with my life, I kind of ran away from it. I was like, well, maybe I'll just be an A&R, or maybe I'll go back to school for law and practice entertainment law. And so I had gotten a job, as soon as I graduated, I got a job at Drexel University. Mm-hmm. And I took that job in order to go to school for free. And so 2 months into the job, I was like, this is not it.
Get somebody else to do
it. And I was like, what are you doing, girl? You know you belong on the stage.
Right.
So I was actually venting to one of my friends. And mind you, at this point, I had done a lot of other things. I was dancing background for Jasmine Sullivan. I had done things on a smaller scale, but nothing on a large scale. And so I was talking to my friend. I was like, I really want to get into some real big opportunities. And he was like, well, you can come to New York. I have a place here. You can come audition. If you ever need anywhere to stay. Mm-hmm. So I had that conversation, and then a week later, he called my bluff. He called me back and was like, I heard about this audition for Kelly Rowland. You should come to New York and go to the audition. And so I was like, I don't know, I got work. And he was like, well, what did you just tell me? You said that you didn't want to do that job anyway, and all that. So I was like, you know what, you're right. So I got up, I got on the Chinatown bus. Mm-hmm. I didn't tell anybody I was coming out here, and I went to an audition with this music director. His name's Joe Wilson. And so that literally the audition was all day. It was 3 different callbacks, and I made it to each part. And then at the end, they were like, okay, we'll call you. So I took the bus home by myself at 2 in the morning, and 2 weeks went by, I didn't hear anything. So I was like, I didn't get it,
Mm-hmm.
but I was used to that. Been on plenty of auditions since a little girl, so I was used to hearing no. And so one day I get a random phone call. I thought it was, I get a random phone call. I thought it was Sally Mae asking me for my student loan because I had just graduated. And so I didn't answer. And then I got a voicemail, and I was like, hello, this is Kelly Marie from the Kelly Rowland auditions. I just wanted to give you a call. Call me back. So instead of me calling them back, I called my sisters. I was like, oh, I got a call from the auditions. And so they were like, girl, what are you calling me for? Call them back and find out what it is. So when I called back, I found out they were like, we just want to let you know we really loved you at the audition. Unfortunately, there's not a space for you with Kelly Rowland, but there is another opportunity that we think you would be a good fit for. And then that's when he proceeded to tell me about the Lady Gaga position. They were looking for an alto, and because I dance, I sing, I dressed vibrantly, they thought I would be a good fit, and they said they thought she would like me as well. So my audition for Kelly Rowland ended up being my audition for Lady Gaga, and literally 3 days later, I was on a plane to LA in rehearsals with Lori and Gibson. And they had already started. I actually was kind of a late audition. They had started instead of replacing somebody. And I was in LA driving down Sunset Boulevard by myself, what the hell just happened? I literally was just working, and I was just in school, and now I'm in LA, and I've got a rental car. I'm still a kid at this point, and I'm just this is crazy. So they threw me in. I think they really were testing my professionalism too, because I didn't have much rehearsal, and I had to learn on the job. Literally was learning during the show, everything on the choreography, everything, and I passed the test. And so they kept me, and things went well, but that opportunity also, I was already a Lady Gaga fan, but I fell so much more in love with her because I got to see her like up close and personal. I had front row
and
seats.
her full-blown artistry.
And her full-blown artistry. And there was so many things about her that I admired. First of all, we share in common, like we're both singer and songwriters. And we both come from musical theater backgrounds. And we both went to school for music. And so I got to see how she turned her education into like a real career. That was number one. And then I also got to see how she just was such a character on stage, and like she just was fearless, and whatever happened, whether it was a mistake or something on purpose, it was like she used everything. I always said she used everything. And so for me, it just, not only did I learn from her, but it fueled my fire to be in front and to like have that kind of influence through my music on that many people at the same time. So it was a life-changing experience.
Wow.
For me.
That's so dope. When I was in high school, I was able to interview Lady Gaga at Yale University.
Wow.
So this is a full circle moment, you know, to now be here with you. I feel like you are a true testament of crazy faith. And also what's meant for you will always be for you.
For sure.
Talk a little bit about kind of going off on a limb. Obviously, you're from Philly. You're an East Coast girl. And one thing I always say, because I've been to LA, is that sometimes New York and the East Coast can wear on your body, but LA can wear on your spirit.
That's so true.
Talk a little bit about kind of navigating life in LA as a young girl, coming from a spiritual background, chasing your dreams, and just, you know, finding yourself in that path.
Wow, that's a great question. I feel like I'm still navigating that today. At this point, I've been in LA now for almost 5 years. And that's so true. Like, LA can definitely win your spirit. I'm constantly waking up like, come on, you got it.
Yeah, it's a lot of energy.
You know what I mean? It's a lot, because it's a constant grind. Like, not only are you like grinding and you're in you're living in a very saturated place where people who do the same thing as you, but you're also living in like the most expensive state. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So there's so many different elements to like surviving LA. And a lot of people don't talk about it. They just think of LA. When we come from in Philly, they're like, "Oh, Hollywood, you made it." Meanwhile, we, woo, child,
fighting for our lives.
Right? When I first moved to LA, I was fighting for my life. I had so many kind of crazy jobs. I lied and said I was like a nanny before I took this nanny job, and it was the worst job I've ever had. Like, I don't even know how this lady had a nanny. She didn't even go to work. I don't know why she had a nanny. But her kids were terrible. Like, I just had some really crazy experiences. So to get back to your question, like coming from a spiritual background and like taking that leap, like you said, it was definitely not easy. Like, I actually ended my relationship in that process. Like, you know, tried to make a long distance thing work, and that didn't work. And then I was away from my family for like the first time. Like, I was away on tour and everything, but you always come back home. But like leaving my family and like really making the decision and having to start all over in a brand new city, like introduce yourself, meet people, and humble yourself. Especially because for me in Philly, I had made like a name for myself before I had actually left. So you can be under the disillusion like that you made it if people in your hometown know who you are. But you really realize how much work you have to do once you leave, and you find out like, girl, don't nobody know you. Like, so having to start over and like really come out my shell. I'm a Cancer. I'm like kind of shy normally, unless I'm around people that I'm comfortable with.
I love Cancers. I'm a Gemini.
I love Gemini.
You see?
Yeah, we get along. I love Gemini.
In the cut.
Yeah. You vibing. Yeah, no. So I had to like really come out my shell, and I constantly talk to myself like, girl, stop. You gotta man up. You got to go up, talk to these people if you want to, you know, make an impact. So I did it. I'm really proud of myself. I really am. To this day, I'm like, you really did that. Like, you really figured it out. And I'm still figuring it out. But it wasn't easy. And I also still, even though I wasn't with my family, I leaned on them, leaned on my mother for prayer. Like, I can always call my mom for that. And then I can talk to him myself. So really all of the above, my family, my faith, my relationship with God, it all like got me through, and just really trusting what I heard, because I heard him clearly tell me like, you need to go and don't come back. So really relying on that voice, that inner voice, and no matter how hard it gets, just really stay in the course and just ride the wave. That's what I would say.
I love that. I resonate with so much of what you said because when I was 20, I went to LA to do a semester out there for college. And I'm a Harlem girl. I had never been across the country before. So, talk about kind of, you were a young woman at that point in your life when you first went out there.
Yeah.
Talk about kind of that transition through womanhood from, being a young woman to now, some of the things that you've learned about yourself.
Yeah, that's also a great question. It's so, oh my God, being a woman is so complicated. And especially navigating in that industry. Because it's like a male dominated industry, and then like it's a sex driven industry. And like, having to, because I believe like I'm a sexual being at times when I feel like it. I think that's part of being a woman as well.
And a Cancer.
And a Cancer. But sometimes you want to show that, and then sometimes you don't, and sometimes I use mine in an artistic way. I don't really carry myself like that. I carry myself pretty even keeled for the most part. So having to like find strategic ways of turning men down, and like also making yourself accessible but not too available. It's like it's all a balancing act, and then doing that alone as a young woman by yourself with like not really any guidance, it's a constant teaching lesson. Like everything is a learning lesson. Like I've had plenty of experiences where like somebody, a man or a producer, would try to like come on to me, and then if I didn't respond in the way that they wanted, it was crickets. You know what I mean? And so you have to make the decision, like, do you really care? Are you willing to like move on to the next and just say that wasn't your opportunity? Or are you gonna like see that through, whatever that is? And a lot of people make whatever their decision is. For me, I chose not to take that route, so it's a longer route that way. So being a woman, and then also the element of like I mentioned, is just a saturated town in general. So just the element of competition and like women not knowing how to like collab or like support each other in a genuine way because they feel like they're in competition with one another.
Right.
It's also a part of that. And I'm always like, I have 4 sisters. I'm such like a girl's girl. I like such a champion of women.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. Like with you having 4 sisters, that element of sisterhood and womanhood and woman empowerment must have been very prevalent.
It is, but that's kind of, it's like a two-way street. Like for you to be that way, the other person has to be that way. And I haven't always been received that way by other women, and that's fine because I understand why.
Right.
We're conditioned to compete,
Right.
Even outside of the music industry, we're conditioned to compete with other women over men because we outnumber them. And so a lot of people don't even realize why they are the way they are, and I just choose which company I want to keep and I keep the genuine people around.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm sure on social media there's this trend of being that girl or the it girl.
Yeah.
What does being that girl or it girl mean to you?
I feel like being that girl or the it girl is just like walking in your supreme confidence and like not letting nothing get you off your square. No matter what's going on, just like I know who I am, even if things don't look that great for me. Like y'all gonna see eventually,
right?
Like I know I'm that girl,
right?
I don't need confirmation or your affirmations. Like I'll tell that to myself. So for me, that's what being the it girl is.
Okay. Well, you've been in the game 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Does it ever get discouraging for you, or does it ever feel like, when will I make it to the next level?
Yeah. Every day, like I said, every day, those kind of debilitating thoughts can creep in, but I stand on the mindset, like what's for me is for me. Like you started this interview, and my journey is not the same as somebody else's journey, and I know what I have in mind for myself. I know how long I want to be here. So if you want to be here long, it's going to take you longer to get there. Anything that's worth having, and you got to work harder for it.
Right.
So I just realized my path is longer than most, but I also know my reward is going to be bigger than most.
Yes, definitely. I want to know, what does your day-to-day life look like?
Yeah.
You're in LA, you're getting ready to drop Ready Reloaded, which is in celebration of your 1 year anniversary of Ready.
Yeah.
So what is a day in the life like when you wake up? What's going on? What's the skincare? Like, what's the vibes?
I'm such a non-routine person. Like, routine gives me like the
heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. Like, oh, I want to do the same thing every day. But what I do every day is like I do work out every day. Whether it's go to the gym, work out with my trainer, go on a hike.
Are you a Pilates girl? Or
I haven't gotten into Pilates yet, but one of my girlfriends has been inviting me to class, but she goes at like 6 a.m. I'm not doing that. So when she decides to go later, I will join. But I have heard great things about Pilates. But I do love yoga. I love hot yoga. And then I, of course, like I said, I work out with a trainer, or like I really enjoy being active. So if it's not the gym, it's also rehearsals. Like I'm rehearsing for video or tour, studio. Like I'm really like every day is different, but it's always something productive. Like I got to do something productive. So if I'm not in studio, if I'm not at the gym, or if I'm not in rehearsal, then I'm doing like brainstorming, I'm pulling inspiration. I'm making spreadsheets of things I want to do, or writing lists, or writing down my goals for that month. So it just varies. It's day by day.
Yeah, just staying in that constant state of like creativity and productivity
and preparation.
Yes, stay ready so you don't got to get ready.
Ready, that's the name of my EP.
Yes. So we just had Vito here not so long ago.
I love Vito.
Yes,
he's amazing.
Yes, he is. He spoke about working with Eric Bellinger and Usher as well, who's gearing up to end his residency, also perform for the Super Bowl in 2024.
I'm excited.
Yes, me too. Definitely well deserved and right on time.
Yes.
Speak about your experience working with Eric Bellinger and some of the other like R&B goats.
Yeah. So I love Eric.
I interviewed him too, by the way, so I love him too.
I literally love him, and like I fell more in love with him and his artistry when I went on tour with him. Like, of course I knew his music, and like I knew his songs, but like when I went on tour with him, again, it's kind of like the same thing with Lady Gaga. That's why touring and like live performance is so important, because you get to see the artist in a way that you would never see, or you can't, something that can't even transfer through like music or video. Like you have to see them in person, and he has such a he's super talented. He sounds amazing live, and I have such a respect for him. He would do like his meet and greets, and his meet and greets were concerts. Like, he would give, like, a private concert for a small group of people.
Now, that's going above and beyond.
Who does that?
Yeah.
Who does that? And, like,
step y'all cookies up.
Step it up.
Singers.
Step it up. Mr. Bellinger is giving you a concert before the concert. And that was so admirable to me, because that just, first of all, it shows how much he really loves his fans.
Yeah.
And then it also shows how, like, conditioned he is, because as a vocalist, for you to sing and then do a whole like hour set, that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And he sings live and he sounds amazing. So my respect for him is just like top tier. And you can tell, you know, who his mentors are. You can tell like Usher,
right,
the legends, the greats are his mentor, because he carries that same energy or that same charisma. And I'm blessed because he then passed on his lessons to me.
Yes.
And he's such a like a pay it forward type of guy. Like, just gave me all the advice he can give me, and I just soaked everything up that I could get during that time.
Who are some of your mentors?
Well, some of them, they don't know me. All my mentors, most of them probably do not know I exist yet. But they will. You know, the normal person that most of us say, Beyonce, she's number one. Like, her performing artistry is like, it's number one. There's nobody better than her right now. And so I definitely watch and study, and I have been studying her since I was like very little. And then I love Rihanna. I love the trajectory of her career. Like, I love how she took music and made herself a brand, and now she's a mogul, billionaire. Like, those are all the things that I want to do. And then Brandy, I love her trajectory. I love how she went from music to movies to theater. Those are all things that I want to eventually do as well. Like, I started in theater. I want to return to theater at some point, because it's just nothing like that. Like, there's no redos, there's no auto-tune.
Theater life is hard too, and it's rigorous.
And they do several shows a day. Like, that'll really test how how conditioned you are. And so I want to definitely, you know, I like to challenge myself. So that's something I have on my bucket list as well. So those three people, and then there's just so many like I look at the men for inspiration as far as like how they have like branded their merch. Like I love what Travis Scott has done with his merch. I love what Kanye did and how they turned that into like a whole clothing line, a whole thing to be like just exclusive and limited, and how people can't wait to get their hands. Like I don't think, I'm kind of telling on myself, but I don't think a lot of women have done that as far as like with their merch. So I kind of want to be like the girl who does that with their merch and make it like such a like a kind of like a hype beast thing.
Yeah, like revolutionize it.
Yeah,
really.
for sure. So I love how they did that. And then the list goes on and on and on for so many different reasons, but there's just like so many people that I look up to and admire.
Yeah, I know you love Brandy a lot.
Yeah.
Have you ever met her?
I actually have. Funny enough, like one of my very first solo shows was when I opened up for her. And that was a dream. That was so long ago, but that was a dream. I was like, Brandy, I'm opening up for Brandy. Like,
Does she know like how much you really love her, or were you just like trying to play it like cool, professional?
No, I told her. I don't think she probably remembers. I'm pretty sure all of us R&B girls tell her that.
Brandy,
yes,
what's up?
Brandy, holla at me. I love you so much. Yeah, I opened for her really a really long time ago. Like I can't even count, but yeah.
I love that when your dream come true.
Yeah.
When you're able to like work with somebody
Meet your
that
idols.
you really admire.
Yeah.
And it's the best when they don't like disappoint you. You know, because sometimes you have a version of them in your head.
I know
and then when you meet them, it's like, OMG.
Yeah. That's why they're saying don't meet your idols. But I was lucky in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Kanye West too, you were a part of his Sunday service.
Yes.
Talk about that experience and kind of what you've learned and gained from that.
Yeah, I think the biggest lesson I learned from being in the Sunday service choir was another version of like stay ready so you don't have to get ready. We like, you don't have to know Kanye to know like he's very sporadic and like very fast paced in his mind.
He's a
like,
Gemini too.
Yes, yes. So he would have ideas and it was up to us to execute them. He would give them to the choir director and we would get it done. Like sometimes we would have to learn songs within like a day, or sometimes the same day as a service. And so it just made us be very quick on our feet and like have to learn things really quickly. And also, as fun as it was definitely very vigorous. We traveled a lot. Traveled with a big group of people.
I know you had to quit your job when you were a nanny.
Yeah, right? I did. But I welcomed that. That was a good. I was like, sure, I'll sing every day for my day job. And it was, you know, paid well as well. So, yeah, that was just like, it was just a very, it was very grueling because it was just tiring. It was very tiring. Like sometimes we would leave on a Thursday to go do like a service on Friday, or we do a service on Saturday. We would rehearse. We would get there. We would rehearse for like Thursday, Friday, do a service on Saturday or Sunday, be right back on the plane on Monday, be in rehearsal Wednesday.
Wow.
So it was very demanding, but it also like helped me with strengthen my voice as well. And then also just taught me how to like learn things very quickly and like be ready. Like I had a show a couple months ago that we found out about 12 hours before. It's like, hey, can you come do this festival? And we were like, okay, yeah, let's figure it out. And
so you built for it. You're about that life.
Yeah,
you know?
I think I am. But it's all the training and all the different experiences I've had that's part of that.
Yeah, that's so dope. I know sometimes for us as women, like when we're chasing our dreams and going after our goals, just love can be either like a distraction or it could just be on the back burner.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of super successful women that probably are still not married or have that family or, you know, healthy, loving relationship that they might want. Talk a little bit about your thoughts on that, kind of what you want for yourself as a woman in terms of love, dating, and relationships.
Yeah, I love your questions.
Thank
They're amazing.
you.
That's such a good question because I had this conversation quite often, like with my girlfriends and some of them that are like in the industry. I think it's possible. I don't want like I don't want to be like the girl to say, girls, you got to choose. But a lot of times we're put in that position where we feel like we have to. But I think it's all a matter of choosing the right partner. And a lot of times, in my experience, men don't know how to play the background.
Right.
They don't know how to sit in somebody's shadow. And like when we're in this industry where we are at certain times being put on a pedestal and like and being highlighted and being, you know, celebrated, that's not always an easy thing for a man to handle.
Right.
So if you find that man that can handle that, then girl, you better hold on tight.
Where y'all at?
You better hold on tight because it's not easy to find.
Yeah.
But I'm a believer that they exist.
Are you a lover girl as a Cancer?
I am, but it takes me a while to get there. Like I'm such like guard up, walls up.
Yeah.
Until you get them down, and then
You're obsessed.
Then I'm putty. I'm putty in your hands after that.
I wanted to ask you, when it comes to love, dating, relationships, are you kind of looking for somebody that is, or are you looking for somebody, period? Number one, because, you know, just because you're single or whatever the case is doesn't mean you're actually looking.
Yeah.
But do you want somebody like in the industry that kind of understands the lifestyle and what it comes with?
Yeah.
Or are you cool with being with like, I don't know, just like a normal, maybe 9 to 5 or just normal civilian?
Yeah. Let me answer this so I don't get canceled. Let me answer this. No, I think that like, so it's, I would date a regular 9 to 5 guy, but the 9 to 5 guys are the ones who have a hard time understanding our lifestyle. And that goes for both sexes. Like if it was a man in this industry, if he dated like a girl who worked a regular job, I'm pretty sure he would have a hard time with that same thing. Because we don't work regular hours. We're in the studio sometimes 12 hours at a time. Getting home at 3 a.m. You know, it's like a very different lifestyle.
Yeah.
So not that I necessarily want to date somebody in the music industry. It's just that I got to date somebody who understands my lifestyle. And so there are careers that are adjacent. There are like people who are stylists or artists, visual artists, like there are people, creative adjacents that may not be in music, but they can understand the lifestyle. So usually that's what I end up like attracted to, is like the creatives, just because we are like-minded.
Yeah.
But I would date a regular 9 to 5 guy too, if he could handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Ready Reloaded. I want to know, what space were you in when you were in the studio recording that EP?
Yeah. So Ready is a it's a labor of love. Like I think people's first projects are the EPs. Like my album is going to be crazy, but my first EP is very special because a lot of these songs were created when I was like at my lowest, in transition, and so I feel like when you're at those points, then like those songs are like special to you, and they're part of your story. So a lot of the songs that are on my Ready EP are like true stories. Like In the Way was a very true story, and that's what I was going through at the time when I was when I first got to LA. I was writing about just the guy that I was with that was emotionally unavailable, and like I'm in a transition in my life. Like if you can't be here for me, you know, in so many words, then it's like don't do me no favors. Just let me know, because I got other stuff to do. I can't be focused on what we are. So so that was like a very like real scenario. And so Ready Reloaded is the same thing. It's the same concept, but we just have like, you know, since then I've grown and I have new relationships and like new opportunities and new platforms. So it's just like an elevated version of the first EP that I put out last year, with like some new features and just some more exciting and exciting versions of like the stuff that you guys heard the first time around.
Yeah. What are you most excited for in your career right now?
You know what? So I'm in like a very, I'm in a place of like, I don't know what's about to happen next. And to me, normally that would give me anxiety and I would be stressing like, I don't know what's about to happen next. But right now, I'm like, I don't know what's about to happen next.
Yes,
like
gotta stay tuned for the
like,
next episode.
And I'm like, stay tuned to myself. Like, so I'm actually excited that like, and I think that's because I'm trusting God, and I'm like, I'm leaning on my faith, and I feel like something big is coming. So I don't have anything in particular, but like the whole state of where I'm at is what's exciting to me.
Aside from obviously your dreams continuing to come true and for you to continue to elevate to the next level, what's something that you're praying for?
Ooh, I'm praying for, I just actually wrote this down earlier. I'm making my prayer specific. So I'm praying that my song, when it re-releases, it charts on Billboard. So hopefully it does, and we can go back to this interview.
It will.
Amen. Yes, I'm praying for Billboard charts, and I'm praying for my own tour soon enough.
Yes. Well, we're definitely excited for Ready Reloaded, for your tour, for all the things that you have coming out. Is there anything that, if you could tell the world anything, what would it be?
If I could tell the world anything, don't give up. That's all I got. Don't give up.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And on that note, you guys can follow us at MusicXclusives TV. Again, I'm your host, Kamey Gomez. GoGo, it was a pleasure to speak with you today. Let the people know where they can follow you at.
You guys can follow me on all social media platforms at GoGo Morrow, and that's GoGoMorrow.
You in the way, you in